One of the biggest okie dokes the devil can do on you is cause you to feel like you are in competition with someone else when it comes to your purpose. But how can that be if you are running in your own God-given, purpose-filled lane? The truth is, no one can compete with you in your purpose. No one can outdo you in your purpose. And no one can take your purpose from you, as long as you stay in your lane. The Bible tells a story of an individual who had a God-given purpose to fulfill. But because he couldn't stay in his lane, his purpose was taken from him, and his life ended in tragedy. Now, the person I'm talking about is none other than King Saul. Now, Saul was handpicked by God to be Israel's very first king. He had a high and specific calling on his life, and a specific lane that God designed for him to stay in. But not long after Saul had become king, he made the dreadful mistake of stepping outside of his lane. As king, Saul knew that before going into a battle, Samuel, the priest, was to offer burnt offerings and peace offerings unto God on behalf of the people. But on this particular occasion, Samuel was delayed and Saul found himself growing impatient. So instead of staying in his lane as king, he decided to enter the lane of priest and offered the burnt offerings himself. And that was a huge mistake. But that wasn't his only mistake, because shortly after this, Saul was given explicit instructions by God to utterly destroy a wicked nation and kill everybody. And God meant everybody. But Saul again stepped out of his lane and attempted to fulfill the role of God by deciding it wasn't best to kill everybody. So he spared the life of King Agag. By doing this, Saul stepped into a role that belonged to God and God alone, because it was God's role to make the decisions, and it was Saul's role to execute on those decisions, not the other way around. So, as you can see, Saul had a serious problem with staying in his lane. And because he had a problem with staying in his lane and fulfilling the purpose that God had designed for him, God could no longer trust him to fulfill his purpose. So he had no other choice but to allow his purpose to be taken by another. One who was more worthy than Saul, and one who would stay in his lane. And we know that the one was a young shepherd boy named David. So, why am I sharing this with you today? Well, I'm sharing this with you today to let you know that God will protect you in your purpose, and he will excel you in your purpose as long as you stay in your lane. So don't allow the enemy to tempt you to focus on somebody else's lane or to step out of your own. And also, don't let him make you feel any kind of way if someone is trying to compete with you or threaten you in your purpose. I mean, that's ridiculous, because all of their efforts will be fruitless when you are committed to operating in the lane that God has given you to run in. So, let me know what you think about all this by leaving a comment below, and also be sure to share this video with a friend and subscribe to my newsletter. And until next time, continue to live the extraordinary life through Christ.